Yeah,
But
just start. There we
hold on, if
go.
you're
Hold
gonna
on,
start
hold
the
on,
pod,
hold on, hold on. I didn't hear the question, Ben. Ben, what's the
no,
question?
no, no, stop the
Oh, I
pod
was
for a second.
asking about
Hold
Hollywood's
on.
background.
Stop the recording for a second because there's going to be an
Why?
action. No, because stop the record because I actually want us to start actually having an intro and doing things correctly in this pod. So when we start the pod,
Dude,
we are going to start the pod.
there's no better way to start the
This is
pod
the
than in the
best
middle of a
start to the
All right,
pod.
conversation.
fine. All right, fine. So we've done this, and we actually have never done a proper introduction. So I guess this is our introduction. So first of all, if you're watching this, why the hell are you watching three idiots talk about sports? But whatever works for you, we appreciate you.
Why
So
the hell are you watching 312s talking 10?
well, we haven't decided on a name. That was going to be one of the first things we discussed, but he asked a question first. However, I want us to go around and introduce ourselves and how we know each other and everything. And so my
Hollywood,
name.
quit deflecting. Talk
I will
about the
answer the fucking
background.
question in 2 seconds. Calm the fuck down. I told you I want to actually do a fucking intro to this goddamn thing. Maybe this is just how it's going to be. It's going to be a train wreck every time we do one of these, but that's fine. So
This
my
is
name is Alif
already
Shahada.
golden content, by the way.
I didn't say it wasn't golden content. I just said I wanted to start it cleaner than this, but this is fine. I don't care if this is how it starts, to be honest. Because technically this goes to something your boy number one says, which is if you're doing something, you might as well record yourself doing it and just see what happens. And I'm like, all right. Because he always told me about that and about D&D, which is going to tie into the story about Mike. So anyway, my name is Alif Shahada. I also go by the name Hollywood. I know these two 12s from working at a sandwich shop called Ike's, loving sandwiches. I met Tucker about 10 or 12 years ago. That's probably not accurate, but I like to say 10 or 12 no matter what. And I
No,
met
that's pretty
Ben.
accurate. That's pretty accurate.
I
Pretty
met
close at
Ben
this point.
probably, you know what?
Sure.
I met Ben also about 12 or 10 years ago, give or take.
Give or
um,
take.
we are three friends who, like I said a second ago, like to talk sports to each other. So I figured why not record it, and so that's where we are. So now, what do you introduce yourselves?
All right, dude, I'll go ahead. Ben Nogales, for what it's worth. I work for these lovely gentlemen here, and yeah, I don't know. I'm on board. Like I had a roommate we used to do this with, where we are just like, we would sit there, we'd have these conversations, and we'd get done with it, and we'd be like, dude, we should have fucking recorded that. Like that should have been recorded. We should have posted that. Like that was great. And so like this is the move. This is the idea. Like we might as well if we're and it gives us an excuse to all get together and talk to each other too, which is nice.
Which is very true.
Exactly. Also,
On the
next
hat.
time you got to change your name on the Zoom screen to hashtag #NugOn1 because that's what I'm going to refer to you as most of the time. Also, a leaf should be hashtag Hollywood.
I was literally gonna do that right now.
Dude,
I
let's
should
see.
be I should be hashtag Papa Hat.
You are
Um,
hashtag Papa Hat.
but my
Don't
my
86 Papa Hat.
that's also hella true. I don't know how to change my name though, but
Yeah, I think
I
you can only change it in the before you log in. So we
Uh,
would have to log out. Oh wait, it says rename. Let me try that. Haha, success.
how'd you do it?
If you click on the three arrows in the corner of your name, well, you're on your phone, so I don't know if you could do it on your phone.
Maybe not.
go into the chat and find your name. No, go into participants and find your name and then edit.
Yeah, mine says Hollywood now.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah,
While you guys figure how to change your names, I'll introduce myself. So my
I
name
changed my
is
name, asshole. All right.
You didn't put a hashtag though, so it's not right.
First of all, I'm not hashtag. He's hashtag Doug on one because of that goddamn name.
Hollywood, you're literally the hashtag king. How are you going to
You
sit
are the
there and tell me
hashtag
that you
king.
can't hashtag your
All right,
own
fine.
freaking name?
To be
Fine.
fair, the other way, Tug, how are you going to lecture the hashtag king about hashtags?
You're also right. He's got you there, sir.
If Hollywood gets mad at me for lecturing him about hashtags, 77. But my name is Tucker Bascom, and I like this as an excuse to get together with two of my best buddies to talk about sports.
All right, now go.
Um,
Good.
we should probably, first order of business would be to vote on the name of this thing.
No, let me answer the question so you guys can't say I'm avoiding the question. All right. So this is my as Doug on one is not in front of his screen.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Uh,
Sorry, I was thirsty. I had to go
no,
inside.
no worries, no worries. So this is one of my good friends. His name is Mike McCarter. Um, I play D&D on Wednesdays with him and some other people. As a joke, one time, kind of forgot how it happened, but he was kind of looking at the camera like this, and we kind of my best friend Ron, he took a screenshot of it and set it as his background, and then I did the same thing and I set it as his background, as my background. So, and we kind of did it for a while, and then they all died off on doing it, but I just kept it going. So every week during D&D, when we zoom in, I have a different photo of Mike as my background. This was the current photo. Tucker knows we have weekly meetings usually, and usually in every meeting it's a different thing. And so Tucker has asked me, "Who the hell is that guy behind you?" And just recently, in a meeting we had with Kino a couple weeks ago, Kino asked me like, "Who the hell's the other guy in the photo?" And I was like, "Oh, that's my buddy Mike. Don't worry about it." And he's like, "Okay."
At this
But
point,
everybody
I'm
wants to be
pretty
like,
sure
"Why
I've
is that
seen-
guy in my background?"
I'm pretty sure I've seen every single photo.
No,
but
I have more, but because there's some I prefer over others, so I keep changing it. I go back to them because also sometimes I don't know, I don't know, like which ones I've used recently. So this is the photo that started it all.
and he
And
did
then there's
that on
other photos
purpose?
like this one where he's like staring off into nothing. Um, This is another photo. He's just all cracked out. So sometimes I did, and then so one night, what I did is I went through his Facebook and I just looked at all the photos that were ridiculous, and I started saving them. So I have a folder on my desktop called the Mike photos, and they're in there. This is one of my personal favorites. So this is somebody else's screen. Somebody else did this in the chat. That's their chair, but it looked like it gave them a giant 10-12. So I screenshotted it, and I use it every once in a while as a background because it looks like he has a giant 10-12 right there. But
incredible.
Yeah.
That's like the ultimate D&D troll if I've ever heard of one.
Yeah. And there's some that's not even him. This is a photo. I don't know where the original photo is. I need to find that original photo. But this is shirts we made for his bachelor party when we went and did that, and we did it. And then on the bottom it says "I am burrito," and it's in purple. And then so there's stories to that, but that's another story for another day.
Dude, that's excellent. That's
so we'll
excellent.
Go back to
okay.
that one for now. That's Mike. You can see Michael McCarter. That's why I got his name in the corner.
Fucking screen grab. That's
So
incredible.
just so we're clear, he was just playing D&D and he just like looked like that, and you snapped a photo. Like
No, I did not snap a photo. My friend Ron snapped a photo. This is Ron's fault, all right?
But he
Ron
wasn't
started
posing.
this, and I just kept. You guys haven't noticed yet. Sometimes you guys start shit, and I just run through the door and I keep it going. Like the hashtag thing that we did in Denver that spawned hashtag Nug on One, and me calling him that. Like I don't even know why I decided to start calling him Nug on One. I just started calling him Nug on One, and he's literally in my phone as Nug on One. Your Papa Hat in my phone. He's Nug on One in my phone.
Oh my gosh! Just an unsolicited selfie, and now we're here.
Yeah.
Good for Mike, dude. Mike's a legend.
He is. I agree.
He's basically the fourth 12.
Yeah, he's the unofficial fourth 12th in this podcast. Yes. Like if he ever comes on, I'll be like, Michael, as everybody knows, is a regular member of this podcast, and just what we do if we ever get him on, I'll send you guys a photo, and we'll all have different photos of him as our background, and then if he ever joins the pod,
he's our 10 or 12th man.
Yeah, 10 or 12th man.
When we launch merch, Mike's going to be the first one to get a t-shirt. And what I mean by that is we're going to have a t-shirt, but it's going to be Mike's face, and it's going to be the.
Okay, yeah. I was like, that's what I thought you were going, and I'm like, yeah, I'm 100% on board with that. The first photo is
the first t-shirt will be Mike.
The first t-shirt should just literally be that. His face.
Exactly. All right. Well, should we name this thing or what?
Yes, we should name this podcast officially friendly.
All right. Put up the poll, Hollywood.
All right. So I obviously jokingly called it 310s talking 12 the first pod we did. Um,
Which
uh,
honestly I think is money, dude. I love
but
310s talking 12.
Well, when me and him were talking about it, because last week, obviously, you missed last week's one. He was like,
Yeah.
you need to set it up and do this stuff. And I was like, well, I want an official name and a logo first. So when we were in Denver, he actually, or maybe it was a conversation in Denver, um, he actually went to ChatGPT and made a pretty cool graphic. Um, he had another idea of like getting our faces on the graphic instead of the random three dudes on the graphic, because it's just like I think he put in like two white guys and a Middle Eastern guy, and it kind of made it look like two white guys. And that's what I assumed it was going for, because one did look like it could be me, but it wasn't obviously me. And then I said, well, what if we change it to like, what if we come up with something better? Or I said 312 talking 10, and I kind of like that too. So it was like, and I
Also
was like,
good.
and then he's like, and then you were not a part, because Tucker said 310s talking 12 is great, and I'm like, and I'm not opposed to 310s talking 12, but I was like, we got to at least incorporate the other 10 that's a part of this goddamn podcast. We can't make this decision without him, you know. I mean,
Yeah,
eventually we're gonna
I'm
have to.
fine either
Yeah.
way. If it's gonna be 310 talking 12 or 312 talking 10, I'm in either way.
All right, so I'll text my brother, say which one he prefers, and whatever one he says, we'll go with. How about that?
Oh yeah, dude, we gotta appeal to our Lord and Savior.
Our Lord and Savior.
While we wait for him, uh,
That's sweet.
this is the graphic, but it can be a lot better. This was just literally sitting at Shanahan's, like whipping something together impromptu. But like we talk about more than just baseball, so there should be other sports balls getting
Yeah,
represented. And I think we could also crop our faces in an artistic way on there
yeah.
too.
And even if you just describe like I'm sure you could get it to like if you can describe some features of each person, it might be able to do that.
I
Exactly.
think you could kind of upload photos into it now,
You,
obviously,
yeah, you
but
can.
yeah, and then we could say use these people.
But in terms of
Okay.
like the text style and the microphones, like I like the gist of it.
Yeah. I would say maybe like spell out three.
Yeah, I was gonna say that as well.
Hmm.
Um, because when I typed it out to Ike, I put 310. Because it makes it sound like with the three, it looks like it says 310s.
Yeah.
310s talking 12 versus 310s talking 12. So
Yeah.
we'll see what your boy says.
Okay, cool.
Because Tucker's been on me to start a YouTube page, and I was like, well, we need a name and we need a graphic
Yeah.
first before we do this. So we were gonna do that last week. I had it in my notes of stuff to talk about, but then, like I said, obviously you didn't show up last week.
Yeah,
Son of a
I
bitch.
slept through
You
that
slept
one.
through the pod last week. Um,
Um, so when I send you the next recording, Hollywood, I'll also include a few logo options as well.
yeah. Well, we should do. Well, yeah. I mean, you should send it to both of us so then we could discuss the logo options in the
There you
thing, and
go.
then figure out which one we like, and then this way we don't. Because my thing is also going to be, no matter what I like, I'm going to be like, I want to hear Papa. I want to hear Ben's
Yeah.
opinion.
So
So
we can decide on the name tonight and then the
yeah.
logo on the next one.
There we go.
All right. Cue us up with your first topic, Holly Hat. While we wait for Ike's response.
Um. Uh. So I know me and you discussed it a little bit last week, Tucker, or Papa Hat, sorry. But nug on one, you are obviously a bigger gambler than I am. I don't gamble at all anymore. I know we sort of talked about. I don't know if we talked about it on the pod, the three of us. I know me and Tucker talked to it a little bit, but I was curious to hear, you know, how do you feel about the sport, the stuff coming out about the NBA, the gambling, the baseball is obviously not as much because it's just predicting like a first pitch, so it's not as bad. It's not like they're grooving pitches to give up runs, or depending on what you want to believe about whether Shohei's involved in it or not. Um, but yeah, what do you think about that? Do you think scare you off? Are you terrified, or how are you feeling right now?
I don't know, man. Like I don't know. As much as I do enjoy gambling on some sport, like I definitely don't think it's I don't think it's probably a good thing that it's just like constantly being thrown at us. Like like I don't know. I don't know. I'm not worried about it in the sense of I don't know, like athletes throwing games and like their influence on it. I'm more worried about like the influence that like widespread sports gambling is going to have on like people across the country.
Like how so? Like what do you mean? Do you just mean in the general of the
Well,
gambling, like it might bring it down? Do you mean like what do you mean?
well, I just mean that it's like not, it's probably not good because like very few gamblers actually like win and make money on it. And so like most people are just like I don't know if wasting is the right word, but like a lot of people are just like fucking throwing away money on, especially like the people that are just like nonstop parlays and that's also what they push, because those are the bets that the house wins on the most. um but I don't know, I think it's like probably not a good thing. It definitely doesn't I don't know. I definitely have more money to do the things I really want to do when I'm not gambling.
That's an
So
interesting kind of like perspective. If the scandal leads to less people gambling, like net, it's probably a good thing, actually.
Yeah, it's not good for the books, but it might be good for humanity.
that is an interesting way to look at it. Eh.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm not as worried about like because like also too, dude. If you freaking lose betting on freaking I don't know, some random stupid prop. Like I saw a thing the other day, I think it was yesterday, a guy that put 15 grand on LeBron to score over 10 points because he's done it almost 1,300 games in a row. And it was to win like $500 or something. And he fucking lost 15 grand on this bet. Um, and it's like, yeah, obviously the guy's got 15 grand to throw around, but like maybe he doesn't.
Hmm.
I mean, if the guy's betting, well, I mean, hopefully, if the guy's betting $15,000 on that type of a prop bet, like I also want to know what kind of odds was he getting on that? You
Dude,
know what I mean?
it was like minus 2,600 or something like
So,
that. Like it was because LeBron has scored 10 points in every
yeah.
game since 2007.
So if it's minus, wouldn't he not win money? Like, wouldn't he lose money then on that?
No, it's just like you have to bet a shitload of money. Like he was gonna win like $500 off of like a $15,000 bet. So like he'd get his stake back and then
And
an
then 500.
extra like
Yeah.
$500 versus like if he were to have bet that same amount of money on like under 10 points, he could retire.
Yeah. That's what I always like sometimes when the sports year starts, seeing some of those like one thing I've always kind of considered doing, especially it might be something to even consider doing now because of how much easier it is to bet on sports and stuff. But like take those like outlier team like this next year in baseball, like the Marlins are gonna have like a ridiculous odds to win the World Series. Just put like a
Yeah.
$50 or $100 on them and just see what happens. Because if they hit, it's going to be hella money. If they don't, you lost $50. It's not like you ever spent $50 on something before.
And two, you can justify it with baseball where you're like, okay, this is basically like me betting on them to win every night across this 162 game season. So if I just spread $50 across 162 games, it's like I'm not betting anything.
Yeah, I mean you're betting less than like probably 25 cents a game or whatever that math is, whatever that
Yeah.
math downs to. Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
don't know. Futures are super fun. Like
it
I
is.
I really do enjoy betting futures. I didn't like pay enough. I wasn't like prepared enough when football season was coming around to get in on them.
Yeah.
But like I usually throw in some futures most years. In fact, ironically, this is the first year I haven't freaking thrown in a Packers Super Bowl bet to start the season, and
I mean,
I don't
before the
know.
Micah trade, you would have gotten great odds. After the Micah trade, they kind of became one of the favorites, so
Yeah, they
not as
shot
much.
up.
Yeah, like this would have been a good year to bet on the Niners too because they had such a bad year last year. Like that's also the other thing to do is always find like the now obviously the Chiefs are gonna still be a favorite next year even if they don't make the playoffs, but like depending on the odds next year, like that might be a decent bet to throw some money on the Chiefs next year.
Yeah, it's always. I mean, and that's the idea of like being a successful sports bettor. It's more about like finding value than it is actually like betting what you think is going to happen. Like
Well, they
that's
always
that's that's way more of it. Like especially if you listen to the guys that are like real, like that's what they do. Like they freaking earn their keep. Sports betting. Like what they preach over and over again is like it's so much about like, all right, we're projecting this guy for this number. All of these sports books are off. With their lines, so we're projecting a lot of value on this. So bet this, and like that's how they do almost all of their picks, and that's how they end up being like winning sports betters. It's really like it's weird because they like
yeah
completely take out the idea of like, because that's what I love about sports betting is going, oh, I was right.
yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
Well,
oh, I was right about that.
it's funny you say that because I watch a lot of First Things First, as you both know, and they've added this guy named Danny Parkins, who's Nick Wright's best friend in real life, and Nick Wright and Danny Parkins are notoriously betters, and they're always talking about like the value of the bet, the value you're getting on this or the value you're getting on that, and there's like every so often like they'll bring up the like the MVP odds, and I don't remember who's like fifth, but like they're like 1,000 plus like let's say 250 or whatever it is. They'll be like, that's good value at that thing. Now, do they have a chance of winning? No, but that's good value. You know what I mean? And it's like it's just because you're basically saying the same thing, talking about the value bet and saying stuff
Yeah,
like that. It's like yeah, like that's an interesting. It's funny that you say that because like now I hear it all the time, and I'm still like I still don't understand all this stuff. Like I would just be like, I'm betting on this because I don't think this team is going to win by that many points, or I don't think that team will lose by that many points.
Hmm.
yeah, and the idea is like, you know, it's like with something like MVP odds, it's
Yeah,
like you've got especially like I don't know. It's kind of rare also that I don't know what they're at right now, but I was like usually at this point in the season there's like someone that's kind of like really separating themselves from the rest.
So
And that's
so
like
technically that was Stafford until he had the three the three whatever turnover game last week.
yeah,
So
against the
now
is
Drake
it
May
the
is ahead of
Panthers?
him. Yeah, Drake May is technically ahead of him in the MVP odds, but it was Stafford. But it's basically down to Stafford. So Drake May is plus 100, Stafford's plus 105, Jordan Love is plus 1,400, Josh Allen is plus 3,000. Um,
Geez, so
K-
they've really separated
yeah,
themselves.
Caleb is plus 5,000. Bo Nix is plus 10,000.
Yeah.
This is
So
from FanDuel Sportsbook, just so everybody knows
Caleb is plus
so
5,000.
yeah,
so like I would say that like one, dude, we're entering Toyotathon freaking
yeah,
Jordan Love season where
yeah,
he just becomes the best quarterback in football for 2 months.
yeah.
And
That's such a Packer take, dude.
dude,
but the
he
thing,
is like undefeated between like Thanksgiving and New Year's. And he has like insane passer ratings, insane touchdown to interception. Like Jordan Love during like it's a thing. Like if you look up Toyotathon on Google, Jordan Love will be like two or three spots down when you search it. Like it is a thing he turns so it's like so I would say it's like that's great value on Jordan Love in the way that like say anything were to happen with Drake May or who'd you say Stafford. It's like if the Patriots and Rams just start losing and it's because of like quarterback play, and meanwhile Jordan Love starts like taking off. We're about to play the Bears twice where we have a good chance to win the division. And so it's like if the Packers end up winning the division, the Rams skid, we end up being the best team in the NFC, and Jordan Love is playing like the best quarterback in football. It's like that plus 1400 looks real good in 3 weeks from now.
I mean, it would. Yeah, I mean, it would depend on how he's playing and what else happens. But yeah, there could definitely be. It could, what the award we've seen recently. You got to be the one or the two seed, so we would have to get to one of those two spots. And Caleb's technically the one seed, and the Rams are the two seed. Though well, I should say Caleb Bears are the one seed, and the Rams are the two seed. But if the Rams fall out, that pushes up the Niners. Then does that make it open up a case for McCaffrey? Because there is talk that they want to give
Exactly.
it. They want to give it to. They want to make it not a QB only award because there's been a lot of talk about switching to a best QB award type of thing. Like kind of
Yeah.
like why baseball even kind of thought of the Cy Young to begin with.
13-5, 32 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Yeah.
I mean, he only has 3 interceptions on the year so far this year.
Yeah. And two, like, like because and also too, to your argument, like throwing in a bet on whatever like CMC's odds right now is probably like good value because like if those things were to happen and the Niners, vault up the standings as they're getting healthier and putting everything back together, like CMC would have a case, dude. I mean, he's like top 5 in the league in receptions right now.
Yeah.
Like he's going crazy.
So CMC isn't even one of the possible listed people. The highest,
that's how you know. That's how you know they're going to give it to him, dude.
The highest listed
when they
person
won't let
that
you bet on him.
That you could bet on this, and I'm almost interested to see what's the lowest amount of money I can make this bet on because this would be a gold mine bet if it hit. But Lamar Jackson is plus 50,000 to win the MVP currently.
Jeez. Yeah. Yeah, and those are like, you scroll down and you're just throwing away money.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah, but I'm like if you throw $50 on that, like I said, a decent dinner somewhere, just don't go out to dinner. Bet $50 on that. If the Ravens go on a run and they get up to the 2 seed, he could, and it's all Lamar just being Lamar again. That could hit. You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, yeah. I got to bet plus 50,000 odds. Go fuck yourself.
Dude, I did that on, I think it was Embiid. Yeah. The year he won MVP. I remember throwing in at like the start of the year and he had really good odds. Like really like high paying odds. And like I watched like as the season went on, it was like, I don't know, I got plus 1,000 or whatever it was. And halfway through the season, he's like minus 200. And I'm like, dude, this is awesome.
All right, so your boy replied. He said 312s, then he has parentheses, 12th man, talking 10. That's what he put back. I don't know if I like the 12th man. So it
sounds like 312s talking 10.
Yeah, 312s talking 10 it is.
312s talking 10.
There we go. Straight from your boy.
Just to wrap up the thought on the NBA bettors, like it's not going to make me gamble less. I also think the news tends to make it sound like it's much more egregious. And there's certainly like narratives on social media where people are like, I knew it, the NBA is rigged, or like, oh, the NFL is rigged. And there's just like people who like lose one parlay by like one leg, and then they're just convinced that, oh my God, this is just a complete sham.
Yeah.
Whereas I think it's a lot more isolated incidents. Like there have been NBA players like Jonte Porter, who was banned in last year, who like legitimately like faked injuries, messed with his own overs and unders. It sounds like Chauncey Billups was doing kind of the same thing from a coaching standpoint. And like those are egregious where it's like legitimately you're screwing with bettors and making it unfair. But I think those incidents are few and far between, and much easier to get away with in a game like basketball, which I'm just not a big basketball fan, so I don't really gamble on basketball. I don't think football players are out there doing similar things. Most of the
Well,
football
also,
allegations have been when they're not actually playing. It's been when they're injured, and then they're betting on games while they're injured. So
well, and
it's not
also
going to make me
too,
gamble less.
well, and also too, I was gonna say like it's the thing that they always say about like tanking teams, where it's like players don't tank, organizations tank.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
like and yeah, I don't know. Like football's a great like I feel like and I feel like most sports generally when they're operating like they should, like everybody is going out there and trying to do the best they can. And like that's what we want in sports and that's why you launch these big investigations and these big things when someone's not because you want to discourage it. You know, it takes away from the sport. Oh,
Well,
I
I
was
think.
gonna
Sorry, go
go
ahead.
ahead, Hollywood. No,
Well,
go
I was
ahead.
going to say that I really think they need to, do those investigations and make them a big thing because this is just if it ever came out, even baseball, the sport I would say I love the most. If it came out that the MLB was fixing games or people were fixing games and stuff like that, like now I wasn't obviously wasn't I was alive, but I wasn't watching baseball yet during the Pete Rose stuff. That would have probably hurt me a lot as a baseball fan because I'd be like, what? Like, I at least for Cincinnati Reds games, because I'd be like, I can't say, he was betting on other teams, but he also bet on his team, and it's like, oh well, if he needs a bet to hit, maybe he doesn't use his best pitch hitter, or he knows, oh, because they always said that he bet on his teams to only win the Reds, but also a not betting on the Reds is basically betting against the Reds. You know what I mean? Because that means you're not going to try as hard. You might not. You'd be like, oh, my closer's gone 3 days in a row. I'm not going to use my closer. I know this pitcher, my starting pitcher, is going to only go 4 innings this game because of XYZ. You know what I mean? So I feel like they have to do it, like, because whenever whenever anybody that I'm talking to goes, oh, like the Tuck rule game, the league screwed the Raiders. They wanted the Patriots in the Super Bowl because they're the Patriots. Blah blah blah. That was the 9/11 year. Blah blah blah. All that stuff. And I go, if it ever came out that they screwed the Raiders, it would kill the league. And everyone's like, what? Well, no. Every time there's a bad call, people would flip their minds over it because they'd be like, oh, they did it to the Raiders that one time. They did it to the Raiders. Like look at how much backlash there was over that fucking non-pass interference call against the Rams in the NFC Championship game one year. Like there was so much stuff, but it was just refs miss it is what everybody finally got around to. But if it was proven that the league did it, it'd be the end of the league. Like I would stop watching the football because I'd be like, I don't
So
know what I'm watching anymore. I'd be like, or I
so
would watch it knowing I'm watching like what I watch wrestling, where I know it's a predetermined outcome. Like I
well,
would be
and
like, I'm watching wrestling. I'm not watching sports.
I was
You know?
I was about to bring that up because Vince McMahon did a really freaking like I don't know ball. He did a very like ballsy thing where he basically came out because it was always like it was I don't know. Everybody knew and believed that all these wrestling, event like everything, all the outcomes were all predetermined, but it wasn't like explicitly said that
Yeah,
that's what was going on. And then Vince McMahon came out and basically said it, um, and no one cared. Like
yeah,
no one stopped watching it. No one, and so it's like if Goodell comes out and goes like or whoever, comes out and is like, oh yeah, this is all predetermined or whatever. Like, I would be interested if it would have like a similar thing where people are just like, yeah, whatever, I still love it.
it would directly. I can't say I would stop watching it because that's probably too strong. I know I did sort of just say that, I would have to change my opinion. Like I would say this: the Giants or the 49ers losing wouldn't affect me as much as it does now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because you just be like, oh, I guess they just didn't
Oh,
pick
it
my
was in the
team this
script. They're
year.
not going to win. It's not their year. Okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if I could switch my mind to that, because like that's the thing with wrestling. Like when I was younger, when Hulk Hogan lost, I was devastated. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, not Hulk. All the things about Hulk Hogan notwithstanding, I'm an older man than
Yeah,
both of you. So I grew up
dude,
with Hulk Hogan
he's
as
he's
my,
still the man. He's still the
you
man.
know, but like that's the you know what I mean. But
Hold
like
on,
like
no sell Hogan, dude.
Hey, it was in the script that he wasn't supposed to sell. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like, dude, bro, how many fucking cigarettes are you smoking a day? This is the third one you're about to fucking light up already. Jesus.
Dude, it's cold out here, and
Okay, then go inside your house, bro.
no, it's nice. It's nice.
Whatever.
The plants are enjoying watching Nug on One smoke cigarettes, dude.
And that's fine. I mean, I'm just saying. But so yeah, if I could switch my mind to to treat it like a TV show, then I would probably be more okay with it. However,
Yeah,
then it would be treated like a TV show where like there's TV. Like I'm actually notoriously not a guy who usually quits TV shows, but I've been better about it lately. Like I can't actually stop watching the show. Like it would be like, how does the show continue to entertain me? And if it does, then I could maybe keep going with it. But like if the show were like if it was, for example, like if the Chiefs just kept winning all the time, I'd be like, I don't need to watch this show anymore. You know what I mean? I don't need to see the Chiefs win. You know what I mean?
that's how I felt with basketball when the Warriors were ruling the league. It was just like when it felt like no matter what, the finals was going to be LeBron and the Cavs versus the Warriors, and like that's just how it felt. Like, and even then, like all year would just be like, all right, Warriors are winning the finals this year. I don't need to pay attention.
Those are just predictable outcomes though because of the builds of the team. Like I feel like could it be possible that the books in Vegas have a close relationship with the official review in New York in the NFL, and they're like, "Hey, here's where the book stands. Should there be a close call and you just don't know what fucking call to make, swing it this way because that's going to help the books out." Like, do I think that that's a possibility? Yeah, I do. Like, I think that's probably a legitimate possibility. But the amount of things that have to happen to lead up to a scenario where you have a moment in a game that could swing the game one way or the other, it's like so minute, but it's possible because of all the analytics that go into making the odds in the first place. It's likely it's going to be a close game because they have decades and decades and decades of data and stats that says the games are probably going to have this result. And
Yeah.
and so it happens from time to time.
Well, and
So
also
the
too, I was gonna say like coaches too, like after those kinds of games where like a call, kind of seems to decide the outcome of a game, like their response is like you have the guys that definitely come out will like put the refs on blast and talk about it. But lots of times their response is like, it didn't come like it stinks that like it came down to that, but we had all these opportunities throughout the game to make it not like that,
Mhm.
to where we could have not been in that position. We didn't execute, and blah blah blah. Like it's always like yes, I mean technically almost every single sport and every single game comes down to a play or one play, but like there's 70 plays before that also led up to that one.
Mhm.
another thing about it is, well, another reason why I don't. It's harder for me to believe the games are rigged and anything of that nature is all the people that would have to be in on it for
Yeah,
it to happen. And then all you need is one of them to grow a conscience or one of them to, like what happened with the Astros. The Astros were doing it. The pitcher benefited for 2 years, got a ring out of it, got shipped off, and then got lit up by it and got mad and then outed them. You know what I mean? And so all it took is one disgruntled former employee of the Astros to out the whole thing on the trash can thing. Um, and it would be the same thing with the NFL. It would take, like, Nixon got brought down by a whistleblower who he thought he could trust. You know what I mean? And so on and so on. So, like, for any game to be fixed, you would have to have so many people in on it that all it would take was one person to be like, oh, I'm not in on it. Here's the taxes. Here's the stuff. Here it is. Here's Goodell telling me to rig the
yeah,
game as an example,
Exactly.
and and then the people could easily be able to prove, yeah, that's Roger Goodell's number. It's not just me having a phone saying
Yeah.
Roger Goodell, like how I have you guys on my phone as Papa Hat Nug on one. I could put, I could put Roger Goodell, but it doesn't mean it's Roger Goodell, like I've had people come into Ike's be like, oh, Ike said I could get a free sandwich. Show me a thing that says Ike. Yes, just show him this message. And I'd be like, that's not Ike's phone number. They're like, well, you don't know. How do you know Ike's number? I was like, believe me, if there's one person in this entire store that has Ike's number, it's this guy. you know.
Well,
Exactly.
and to both your guys' point, I mean, there was I'm trying to remember who the NBA player was. He was, I want to say it was like CJ Watson or something like that. It was some like 2000s, 2010s like role player. Um, and like he came out and said like a ton of stuff about how like a lot of these games are, are fixed in one way or another. And God, dude, I wonder if I can. Wonder if
Oh, Nug on one muted us.
Yeah, he muted himself and turned off his camera.
I swiped the wrong way. But no, it was like an NBA role player that came out was like talking about um
Recently?
all the it
nah,
was
this
sometime in the last few years.
Was it Malik Beasley?
No, no, didn't he get caught for gambling?
Yeah. Yeah, so
There's
there's been a few
Rasheed
instances in the
Wallace has talked
NBA.
about it a bunch.
There's been a few instances in the NBA where players will give insider information, which is like one level of betting. It's one thing to just say, "Hey, like I know this guy's injured," or "Hey, I
yeah.
heard this about that guy." It's another to like actively sabotage your own stats.
I think what it
Yes, yes, for sure.
so and well that was no so Rasheed Wallace just did one and that's in October of this year, but I didn't read that. I don't know, but because I know people have said it for years because there was I don't remember if he was on the Sacramento Kings when they did it or not, but like that Sacramento Kings versus Lakers playoff series where like where like all of a sudden the Lakers got every single call down the stretch and it let the like I think it was Game 6 the Kings were up
Yeah,
huge in the like end of third quarter beginning of fourth quarter and the Lakers came all the way back and won. Like they were like, yeah, look at all those calls, blah blah blah. It's like, and it's like, yeah, but that's also every basketball game I've ever watched. I could see a guy getting mugged on one end and it not getting called, and literally a guy gets tapped on the elbow and they call it on the other end. That's been literally basketball since the day I started watching it. And I watched it in the '80s when you could go down the line and get mugged going down the line.
Yeah, I think there's levels to it. But to your
did
point,
you say that?
Hollywood, uh-huh.
So I was gonna say, did you say that like Chauncey has been tied to like
Yeah,
actual like prop bets and stuff in games? Because what I heard initially was it was all just these like it was like poker games that he was involved, like
no, no.
fixed
So
poker games.
So that is one thing, but they're saying that some of it might go into him on the game, uh, that he gave them information that like, oh, I'm not playing Damian. Like, I don't think they had
Okay,
Damian Lillard, but I'm not playing Lillard today. So everybody knew, oh, they're probably going to lose, so they bet against the Trailblazers, stuff like
gotcha.
that. As part of the money he was getting in the game was to give out that information, and it was funny because even before this came out, I don't know if you guys saw the poker players talking about it, where they were trying to get this one poker player to join, and he had text messages from people he knew saying, "No, this game's 100% legit," but he already knew for like 2 years the game was not legit. You know what I mean? And he was like, "Yeah, I'm good," because these guys would hit miracle runner on stuff.
Hmm. And Chauncey's thing is he's tied to the mafia.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
there's a huge underground mafia ties around sports betting, but also illegal poker games. And so like to even be in those circles and you're coaching NBA games, you think that any member of the mafia isn't going to be like, "Yo, Chauncey, give us Like, what's a good over? What's a good under?
Yeah.
Of course. Like,
Yeah,
of
of course.
course. The reason the mafia brings you into those circles in the first place is because you're an asset.
Yeah,
So I think it runs deep. And at the same time, could you coordinate 1,500 players to all keep a secret? No,
yeah.
No.
absolutely not. I don't care how many NDAs are signed. Like, so like there's levels to this shit. Um, but it's not going to make me stop throwing together parlays on Sundays.
Oh, certainly not. Certainly not. It
I thought you're
definitely
done.
makes you think about certain things. Like it
I
makes
am
you
done
think about like
Hollywood.
the
yeah,
prop bets and the stuff like that. But
that's gonna be like
I
you're a
don't
dirty
know.
liar. You only have like $1.15 left in your
Yeah,
account. You can't even make any parlay.
I start every season with like 150 or like $200 or something. Um, and what was it? 3 weeks ago? When were we talking about that? Was it 2 weeks
I think
ago?
it might have been like 2 weeks ago, something like that. It was
Yeah.
during one of the Sunday night games, or not Sunday night, Thursday
As
night
my
games.
gambling account whittles down, my bets get smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah,
So I think it was 2 Sunday nights ago. I had like $1.15. And it was super close. What did my bet miss on? Uh
dude, that's
Like
what
you needed the yards on somebody, and the guy got like 50, and you needed like 60 or something like that.
dude, it's what they
yeah.
say. They say that the gambler isn't addicted to the wins and the rush from that. It's from the trying to dig yourself out of this hole that you've built for
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
It's
Which
I can get it back.
which is very in alignment with how most addictions are, isn't it?
Yeah.
What I'm trying to find it right now.
Dude, there's nothing quite like having $1 on a game.
Well, while he looks for that, you pose this question to me, another on one, so I will pose it to you first. Russell Westbrook, is he a Hall of Famer or not?
No doubt.
Since we're also talking about basketball right now.
No doubt. I don't know if he's I would if I had to vote, he's on he's first ballot, but I don't know that everybody feels that way. I think he should be. He's like I don't know. You think about like great point guards, and it's like the point guard's job is to distribute and play make. And then like if they can score on top of that, it makes them even better. Now add 10 or 12 rebounds a game. Like he did that position like almost better than anybody. And play like always played with freaking like 100% effort and hustle. Like you can say what you want about Russell Westbrook, but he never like took took a game off. Like he was always on all the time, played almost every game, and was I mean he's got MVP. He does doesn't have a championship, which is the big
Averaged a triple double for a season.
yeah, he did it for like 4 seasons.
I think it was only one, but
No, he did it twice in Washington, and then
I don't remember
he did it.
I don't remember the ones
Yeah,
in Washington.
he did it at least twice in Washington. After John Wall was gone, and it was just him and Beal. Westbrook did average a triple double, I think, twice in Washington. Um, which no, he did it 3 times in like a 4 or 5 year span.
I'm gonna have to say bullshit because according to this checker, he was only on Washington for 1 year, so he could not have done it twice in
Was he only
Washington.
there 1 year?
um, and where are rebounds on this thing? I mean, points are not going to be an issue. So, when he was in 2017-18, why I need to get rid of this stupid thing that's in my way. I'll figure that out later. Where's assists? Okay, so there's assists. Where's block? Where's rebounds on this stupid thing? This thing is doing that dumbass where it divides them up. Um, that's total rebounds. So there. So he did it in. He would have done it in. So he did it twice with Oklahoma. That might be what you're thinking. He did it in
Okay.
2016 and 17. That was the year he won the MVP. Then you could say he technically did it again the next year Well, he didn't technically. He did do it again the next year. He averaged 10.1 rebounds, 10.3 assists, and 21.1 points. That was a triple double. And then he did do it 1 year
Yeah,
in Washington. So I guess he's done it 4 years. Yeah. So he did his
yeah,
1 year in
yeah. He had
Washington.
Who do you think is a
four
comparable
four
Hall of
times in
Fame
5 years.
Yeah.
comparison to Russell Westbrook? Like this guy got in, so of course Russell gets in. Like who's
Oscar
that
Oscar
comparable?
Robertson.
I don't think that's a
Oscar
fair. I
Robertson
don't think that's a
probably.
fair
Um,
compar. I would say Robertson. Now, granted, I didn't see Oscar play, so I'm only going off of stories I've heard and video I've seen of Oscar. I would say I would say that's not. I would say Oscar is significantly better. I don't disagree that Russell's a MVP, not an MVP, a Hall of Famer. I'm just saying, um,
Their stats
you
are
know,
actually not too far apart.
significantly
Oscar,
more
and
games
Oscar
for.
Robertson and Oscar played in the highest pace era of the history of the NBA.
He also didn't play in the three pointer era apparently.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably not. Um, but
What
I
the
feel
hell
like
is
that's
what is
probably.
VO? What is VORP?
Oh, Vorp, dude. I don't know. I think it's like war. I think it's value over replacement player.
there's no way because Oscar Robinson's VORP was 1.2 and Russell's was 58.8. So there's no way.
They didn't record it right back then.
They're both one
Yeah,
MVP.
I don't.
All NBA is 11-9. Scroll back up for a second. Nine all NBA first teams to two. I don't think this is as close as you guys are saying it is. I think this is Oscar and not even
I
close.
was just saying the top is pretty close. Like Oscar averaged 25 points, Russell averaged 21, seven and a
25
half.
and 21 is not close. 7.5 to 7, that's close. 9.5 to 8, I'll give you that's close. The steals are close, the blocks are close, field goal percentage is close. Obviously you can't compare three pointers. Of three throw
Tucker, can
percentage.
you pull up? Can you pull up that same like comparison, but have it like their peaks?
Hmm.
Because Russ has also spent the last. I mean, he's played almost 200 games as a role player.
Yeah.
Um, where Big O probably, I would
Can you give
imagine,
me
probably didn't.
the years for their peaks?
I would say for Russ, probably 2010-11 season to the 2020-21 season.
Okay.
That
And
was
Oscar?
ridiculously disgusting that you went to the exact season. Like I was like, I want to see what season he says was the last season to use, and you said exactly the season I was going to. I'm like, that's pretty ridiculous that
Yeah,
he
it was
did
when
that.
he,
He got that exactly right.
So that's a
yeah, it's when he
10-year
went to the
range.
Lakers.
That means you've got to give Oscar 10 years as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure Oscar has like a. Let's see. I'm not. Let me pull up his basketball reference here. Um, let's see. For Oscar, you're probably talking um, on the first, probably honestly, the first 10 years of his career.
Okay. So we'll go 60 to 70.
Okay, like Big O's definitely better.
Yeah.
Um, but like that's probably the closest. I mean, like we've never had a point guard, another point guard that like prolifically put up triple doubles. Um, you had guys that could do it or would do it here and there, but Russ was like any given night could be a triple double, like for 10 years.
I don't know enough about
But like,
basketball to weigh in too heavily. Um, but I don't know who they're letting in the Hall of Fame nowadays. I
yeah,
mean,
I
if
don't
they're
know. I
trying
feel
to
like
let in the NBA equivalents of like Tim Lincecum's,
Keep talking shit. That if Kim Litzcomb doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame, then neither does your boy Felix. Sorry, buddy. I'll take Felix. I'll take Timmy's 10 years over Felix's 10 years any day of the week and twice on Sundays. All right, bro.
you're literally just trying to trigger me. I wasn't trying to change the subject.
You're the
Um,
one who brought. You're the one who brought Tim Lincecum into this, bro. If anybody's trying to trigger anybody, you shot fire shot bullets over here, right? I was like, why is Tim Lincecum catching strays in this chat? We're not even talking about Tim Lincecum. Oh,
you're just rage baiting each other.
it's what friends do.
Who needs enemies when you have friends like this?
Exactly.
So
Um,
Russell Westbrook is widely considered a future first ballot Hall of Famer due to his MVP award, historic triple-double seasons, numerous All-Star and NBA selections. So Google AI strongly believes Russell is a Hall of Famer.
oh yeah,
Dude, yeah.
I do disagree. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't think he is somebody. I think there's way better people to argue over whether or not they deserve the Hall of Fame or not. Yeah.
But even like, I don't know, over the last like 15 years, there's only like a couple guards that I would put over Russ. Like,
There's
there's
plenty of
only a
guards
few.
I'd put over Russ.
I don't know. I'm not
Harden for one from his
Harden. Harden,
Harden.
sure. Harden's the like fifth or
Steph,
sixth greatest shooting guard of all time.
Steph. Shit. Who else is a guard that I would put over him?
Chris Paul.
I put Luca over him.
Yeah,
Um,
he's still got a career. He's still got a whole career to go. He's
yeah,
23
but
or
I would say
24.
what I've seen of Luca now, I would think Luca is gonna project. Obviously it's projection, and you're right. It could absolutely fall off. He could, he could, we see a skinny Luca this year, and he's dominating. But last year's Luca was, for lack of a better term, fat and out of shape, and he wasn't dominating, and he even fell arguably out of the, going into last year. It was the top three were unanimous. It was Jokic, Giannis, and Luca. And now Shea has literally leapfrogged into that conversation where Shea looks like he's the thing. And Shea's another guy. Now I know you could make the same argument about Shea. Very, very fresh career, but it's still over like. Now, if you're saying Russell Westbrook's thing, yeah, I don't know if there's 10 guards I would probably take. Well, I mean, Steph and Harden were both in there. And then I would Kyrie is a toss up. Probably Westbrook's a better overall player, so I probably say Westbrook. Trying
And
to think.
two, availability is the best ability. And Russell Westbrook played every game most, or at least close to every game, almost every season.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't keeping you weren't keeping Russ out unless there was a it was like he literally could not be like physically unable to play would be the only way he would not play.
Dude, Luca just
Yeah,
wanted to go ride his horses, bro.
Probably true.
it's Jokic, dude. Jokic wants to go ride his horses. He doesn't care
Well,
about
they're both from
basketball.
Serbia, aren't they?
No, Lucas from Slovenia.
Oh, well, shows you how little I know.
I think it's one of the. I forget if it's Balkan, but I know it's like Eastern European.
Yeah, they're both Eastern European. I think they're from like very close to each other, but I think they're technically from different countries.
And they're the maybe the two best players, two of the five best players in basketball.
Absolutely, that's not even debatable.
Yeah, no. But even like I don't know, I think Russ it's like no question, man. He's been so good for so long. And
Yeah.
even on the Lakers, like I love like that whole season like all of our stars were hurt all year. Russ played like either every game or almost every game and he still like played really well. I mean, he averaged like 18 points a game or something like that. And yeah, like the thing with Russ towards the end was always just like, all right, dude, we can't have this guy on the floor in the fourth quarter, like unless he's absolutely going unconscious. and he's, on fire. Otherwise, like it's going to be a nightmare. But I think that was more of like his, I don't know, his like athleticism slip. He didn't do a great job of like adjusting his game right off the bat when he became a role player. It took him, honestly, probably until he got to the Clippers before he really started to like grow into that role. And he was great on the Nuggets. And
Hmm.
I haven't seen much of him being on the Kings. I know he's had a few really good games this year, but he's still doing it too.
Hmm. So from 2000, I put in best guards in NBA from 2008 to 2021, where we basically said Westbrook's peak ended. And the elite tier, consistent top performers, are Steph. The guy I forgot to mention that I was trying to think of his name was Chris Paul. And
Yeah.
then Westbrook is listed as the third of the elite players. And then other key stars, all star. Derrick Rose was a guy who probably I would have probably put over him, but obviously
That's a Tim Lincecum argument right there.
no, because Lincecum. Now you're trying to troll me, you son of a bitch. I'm not going to let you win.
I'm just making the short peak joke.
Yeah, I know. Then there's Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard, which I would not take Westbrook over
I wouldn't
Dillard.
take Dame. Oh, dude, I would take Westbrook over Lillard. Lillard
No, no, no.
was
I'm agreeing with that.
oh
I'm
yeah,
saying I
yeah,
would take
yeah.
Westbrook over. Yeah,
I was like, I like Lillard, but he was a
yeah,
great player or great player, great stats, bad team guy
yeah.
for his entire career.
John Wall, which I would take Westbrook instead. Kyrie
Yeah,
Lowry, I would take Westbrook. Luca, which I would take Luca over Westbrook.
yeah,
Nash and Kidd are listed. I would take.
yeah. Nash and Kidd are better.
I would take Nash and
Kidd's
Kidd.
more debatable, but Nash I feel like is I mean, what, two MVPs?
Nash has got two MVPs. Nash, I think, is a debate. Kidd is a tough one because Kidd wasn't a really scorer, and he was more of a distributor and stuff. So he was more of a pure pass point guard
Yeah,
than Westbrook. So that's an interesting one. And then the name I skipped over because this is basically what you prefer, winning or stats. It would be Tony Parker.
dude. Tony Parker also too like doesn't. I don't know if he gets his fair. Like that guy was
I don't
awesome.
think I don't think he does either
He's
because
super underrated. He
yeah
was awesome. I mean,
yeah
what, he was the Finals MVP in
yeah
'06
yeah.
or '07, whatever year it
Well,
was.
one of those years, yeah, because
It was the year they beat the Cavs.
Duncan doesn't have all of like for as great as Duncan is, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to discount Duncan, but like the fact that Duncan doesn't have all of their Finals MVPs like is a little weird when it's like Duncan is considered this top 15 player of all time.
Dude, you could
Like
say top 7, top 8. Like
Duncan's not top 10. Duncan's not
Duncan's Duncan's maybe the greatest power forward of all time.
it's an
Like
interesting.
who's a better power forward than Tim Duncan? Who you compare to
Here's
Tony Parker?
Russell versus Tony.
Yeah, and Tony's one of those guys because also too, he played the bulk of his career in the, or at least got, because I forget when he came into the league, but it was like a very that like early 2000s, and even I mean it didn't really start opening up until into the, I don't know, like maybe 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. But like that, like when the NBA changed the rules with defense and all of that in like 96 or 8 or somewhere around there in like the late 90s up until the league really, like the offense really started opening up. It's like the most like it was like the most like stingy era. Like it was the most like the highest, the most what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It was like the best defensive era in all of the NBA. Was that like late 90s, early and mid 2000s. Like all of those Cavs Spurs finals games were all like 82 to 78 and 88 to 81. Like they were super low scoring, super high defense. And so like the counting stats and the averages don't like quite tell the whole story.
Dude, Tony Parker's a Hall of Famer. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, he got it. Yeah.
I had no idea about that.
But four titles.
Tony Parker is the NBA equivalent of Felix Hernandez.
Except he has 3 championships and Felix has none. And Felix played on a team that until recently had more busted testicles than playoff wins.
Okay. Tony Parker is the NBA equivalent of Andy Pettit.
Yeah,
Okay,
Andy Pettit's been
I
on
might. I'll give you
ballots.
that. I'll give you that one. That might
There
work.
you go.
All
There
right,
you
so I did
go.
look up power forwards of all time, and I guess if this guy is really a power forward, I would say him. But he would be the only guy of this list that I would say is better than Duncan. But I don't think this guy's a power forward. Larry Bird is listed on the.
No.
I'm just saying what's on this list.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
I
Larry
don't
Bird's
agree with it.
yeah, Larry Bird's a small forward.
Yeah. So this has Garnett, Duncan. Well, this is in like no particular order. It just says
Yeah.
Garnett, but I would take Duncan over Garnett.
Yeah.
Dirk. As much as I love me some Dirk, I would take Duncan over
Yeah,
Dirk.
Dirk's up there, but Duncan's better.
Barkley. Different era, so hard to compare. And then Duncan was obviously the much better winner. Karl Malone is obviously an overall like great scorer and rebounder and all that stuff, but didn't win. And so Duncan gave you everything Malone did. So it's like I'd probably side to Duncan because Duncan won. Now Malone did run into Jordan twice, so that is what it is. But if you want to be the best of the best, you got to win. You know.
Yeah, Duncan had to go through Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah.
So my $1.17 parlay, I had the Texans under 23.5, Bills money line.
Oh, that's what didn't hit. No, Texans were under 23. The Buffalo didn't hit over 20. That's what it was.
They didn't hit over 20. I had Texans under 23.5, Bills money line, and Bills over 20.5. And the Bills lost that game 19-23. And I remember
And
the heartbreaking part was the Bills were driving at the end of the game, and I was like, "Oh, they're going to score a touchdown here, like game over, gravy." And the Bills just couldn't figure their shit out, but they had like a 4th and 15 or some shit. I was like, "Oh, it's
It was
over for
longer
sure."
than that. It was like
And,
is it 4th and 17 maybe?
yeah, it was a
The one they
long 4th
converted.
down, and they converted it, and I was just like, "Oh my God, here we go!" And then and then they like fucked up their next 4 plays, and it was game over just like that. And
See, dude, this is
heartbreaker,
what
dude.
yeah. See, betting on dogs, like underdogs, is super fun because the whole game is kind of like that. When you bet on a favorite and then you end up feeling like they become the underdog in the game, you're like, oh my God, dude, what is happening?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
It was just a
please.
hard game to watch. Just a hard game to watch.
It's a tough defense, those Texans, dude.
This is the worst $1.17 I ever lost.
But hell of a sweat, dude.
Hell of a sweat, dude. Hell of a sweat. So yeah, to Hollywood's point, I haven't bet since then because my gambling budget ran out. I'm waiting to get paid out for my fantasy baseball championship, and I'll just funnel
Did you
that back
win?
into my gambling account. Yeah, I did win.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yo.
But of all people, the commissioner of the league has yet to pay his own dues, and so I have not been paid out yet. So yeah,
Of
just
course.
I'm taking a break until the fantasy payout comes through.
There you
Speaking of
go.
which,
Yeah,
maybe that'd be a good topic to end on is a fantasy football update in your guys' leagues.
dude, I've got freaking so my like most money league that I joined. It's like a 12 team. I think we all put in $50. But the guy who set up the league apparently like they all voted on it like going into the season like this is what they agreed on, but then like when it came around to it everyone got super pissed off, so our playoffs started last week, so they started week
Oh,
13.
you're in playoffs already?
um in this league, yeah.
Wow.
Our because we have the championship I think is 2 weeks. But the playoffs started last week, but the trade deadline is this week. Um,
You can do trades in the playoffs?
exactly. And so I made a trade. I forget. I think I sent it to you guys. I traded David Montgomery and Lad McConkey for Travion Henderson and Tyler Warren. Um, and so I did that like right as we were rolling into the playoffs. And then I was able to like I secured a bye, so it was off this previous week, but this week I've got to play. But I've got some Patriots that are on bye this week.
Ooh.
Um, and so I was like scrambling, trying to figure out what I was going to do. And I got this one of the commissioner of the league. We had worked out a trade, and I was going to be getting Jordan Love and Kyron Williams for I think it was Herbert and like Tet McMillan. And because Tet's on bye too, and I'm like, dude, I have to fucking win this week. Like,
Mhm.
I need guys. And so we agreed to this trade. It's like, it comes up and everyone starts losing their minds. Like everyone in the league starts like losing their minds, getting super pissed off about it. And I was like, dude, the deadline is this week. All of us have a big, like, we're on sleeper. It's like there's a big freaking disclaimer when you go to look at your lineup that says this week is the trade deadline. Like, this is your last, basically, like, this is your last chance to make any trades for the year. Um, and this guy was, the commissioner was out of the playoffs. And also, and I knocked him out, dude. I beat him twice this year. If I didn't beat him, he would have been in. And he had honestly, he's got like the scariest team in the league. So I'm like really glad that he missed it. But so he's like, yeah, he's like, and I was trying to trade with him last week, and he was like, yeah, I don't know, man. He's like, I'm out of the playoffs. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how other people are gonna feel about it. And I was like, dude, who fucking cares, dude? It's a freaking redraft league. There's no dynasty. There's no keepers. Like your season's over. And also, I'm giving you like a fair trade. Um, and but everyone loses their mind, and we're like basically like everyone's like voting on like whether we should like
Yeah.
allow these trades at this point in the season. And I was like, dude, we all and the whole time I'm like, guys, we agreed to these rules at the beginning of the year. We haven't taken any input on any trades all year long. Someone traded Brian Thomas Jr. for Amari DiMarcado at one point in this league, like straight
Yo,
up.
honestly, that wasn't a bad trade there in the beginning of the season because BTJ hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And don't get me wrong, like, yeah, but also it's like, dude, you're freaking abandoning your second round pick. He was like the 11th pick or 13th pick or something like that in our draft. And it's like, you traded him for like waiver wire fodder that is a like third
Dude,
string running back
DeMarcado
on
was on
his
a good
team.
streak for like a couple weeks before he got
Dude,
injured.
he's the best running back in that backfield. They just don't use him.
Yeah.
He's been the best running back for the last like 2 or 3 years. They
But
just don't really use
hold on.
him.
So it was McConkey and Montgomery. You traded for them or you traded them away?
I traded Montgomery and McConkey for Tyler Warren and Travion Henderson, and I did that last week. And
Yeah.
then this week, the trade was Ted McMillan and Justin Herbert for Jordan Love and Kyron Williams. Um, and and so I was like, and no one really had a problem with like the
McMillan
pieces
and
in the
Herbert
trade.
for Kyron and who?
Love.
It doesn't seem egregious. I gotta
No,
look up
no,
his
it's not
stats.
about trade. I mean, Ted McMillan is like the number 7 receiver in our league.
Yeah, and
Like,
Travion is also obviously the steal in that.
well, and that was a separate deal. That was this one was it was Kyron and Love, was who I was getting back,
Kyron is
for
RB what?
maybe 10,
He's RB9.
11, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's really only because they're stat padding Stafford.
Yeah, and he's still good. He's still
Oh
good,
no, no,
but also
he's
and
still good,
also
but he's like
and also
James
too,
Cook not getting touchdowns because
yeah,
Josh Allen gets them, or
yeah,
Saquon because
and
Jalen Hurts tush pushes
yeah,
it from the one.
and he's ceding touches to Blake Corum. Blake Corum's been coming on like across this half of the season, and he's been good. But like the pieces in the trade weren't the problem. Everyone was just pissed about like the timing of it. And like
Yeah.
after all this like bickering and arguing, we get another notification. It's like a trade is now pending, and someone traded like, dude, it was like DK Metcalf, Alvin Kamara, and fucking who is it? It was some like not the and Kittle for like JSN and freaking um
Oh, oh, it's already a bad deal. It's
yeah,
already a bad deal.
exactly. It's like none of those guys are like you could trade all three of those guys for just JSN. I think he got like a really good. It was like I think it was Saquon. I think it was Saquon and JSN for DK, Kittle, Kamara, and $2 of Fab. And I was
Was it
like,
a playoff team and a non-playoff team?
yes, yes.
Oh, dude.
And so, yes.
Collusion.
And so I'm like,
Collusion.
exactly. And so what ended up happening is that trade went through, and then
No,
like 20
you
minutes
see,
later, or it
hold
didn't
up.
go through, but it was accepted and
Yeah.
pending. And then like 10 minutes later, another trade comes in that's like, it's literally to the guy that I'm playing this week. He was going to be getting Jameer Gibbs and fuck, who is it?
Yo, this
It was
league sounds like a pain in the ass, dude.
dude, it was so stupid. It was, and I was literally like, guys, this is not anything like the trade I made. Like, I gave up a top 10 quarterback and a top 10 wide receiver for a top 10 running back and a top 15 quarterback. Like, if anything, like I'm trading away more valuable pieces that I'm getting. I'm
No,
just
the
pressed
running back
because
is a
I'm
bit
on a
more
buy.
valuable. You're the running like if I've learned anything from the trade I made, running backs are way too valuable to
Well, they're
be.
valuable because there's so few good ones.
Yeah,
But in terms of like actual production in your lineup, Ted McMillan produces more than Kyron Williams does, and Justin Herbert produces more than Jordan Love it does. I just need them in a different. I need that production in a different position than a receiver. Um, but what ended up happening is the commissioner ended up going like, "All right, dude, none of these fucking trades are going through. We're just not going to do this." And so all the trades got canceled
Just
and voided.
86, all the trades.
But I was like, dude, you guys freaking just like threw a big fit and then threw out these like terrible, obvious, like bad league busting trades when like what I did was not that.
Yeah. That's
I don't
tough,
think the
dude.
JSN trade is as bad as you guys do, but I get why other people would. If you like if it was really a dump, it would have had not that Kittle would not have been involved. Like if there was no Kittle, then I'm like, yeah, that's a dump. But
Kittle's
he's
the only starter in that trade. You're not starting DK Metcalf. You're not
it
starting.
depends on who else
Um,
you have. You might be
And
starting
Kittle's tight end
Metcalf to put it.
16, dude. Like it's not like he's
but
like
it's because he missed a lot of
Remember, but he
games.
missed
If you
four
look at
games and he was
season
tight end.
average,
Yeah, he was
if
tight
you
end
look
two
at
last
season
year.
average, he's one of the best. He's still one
Yeah,
of the like top 5 tight ends in the league, probably.
yeah.
Um,
but
if you
still,
look at
JSN
like
is by
points
far
per
and
game,
away wide receiver
yeah,
one.
he's a top 5 player in fantasy.
No.
Like,
I'm not disagreeing with the take that he's a top five fantasy player. What I'm saying is, on paper, without knowing, without it being a like knowing that it's just a one and done league. Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, he's dumping the guy to that. But like, unless that guy who's getting JSN has a better tight end, why would he dump Kittle? Because Kittle's probably better than any other tight end he has. Now, if you're like, oh, he has fucking Gobbert, who's been a top 10 tight end for me all year, or then I'd be like, all right, he still has Gobbert. That makes sense. You know what I mean? But like, again, it's like there was this thing on Facebook about Brendan Aubrey being traded straight up for Christian McCaffrey, and one guy was like, "If this," I told the commissioner, "If this goes through, me and my
Wasn't it
wife, we want our
Saquon?
money back." What?
Wasn't it Saquon?
No, it was Christian McCaffrey.
Oh.
Um, and then I said, like, well, it depends on the league. If you're playing in one of those ridiculous leagues that if a guy kicks a 50-yard field goal, it's worth like 10,000 points. Brendan Aubrey would be the best player in that league because he'll kick a 50-yard field goal like it's nothing. So, it's all the things about the league. Like, I don't know. I get JSN is top five, all that stuff, but it's like, it wasn't terrible on paper. It's just
you're
terrible in
you're
I would say it's terrible in fantasy, but not terrible on paper. If that
okay,
makes sense.
dude. You're trading a 30-year-old running back that's out, that's not playing, and his team is awful. So there's no reason for really to
Wait,
rush him
who's the running
back.
back again? Who's the running back?
Alvin Kamara.
Okay.
You got a 30-year-old running back that hasn't been good all year long,
Yeah.
and is out. Kittle, who is good, he's like the only good piece in this trade.
Hmm.
And like DK Metcalf, who like the guy who traded him wasn't even starting him. Like he took two
Wide
guys off
receiver
his
26.
bench and Kittle.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. That's a flex. Like he took two guys that you're desperately starting in your flex and George Kittle and traded them for the best receiver in football and at least a super high upside running back too.
Well, so
Like that's ridiculous.
upside running backs mean nothing to me because like Travion Henderson, I know you're ecstatic you got him in your dynasty league, and maybe in your dynasty league he'll be great next year, but Patriots don't want to give him the ball. So Travion Henderson, for all the value people think he's worth, he's valuable in maybe your dynasty league in 2 years, but they want Stevenson. They give Stevenson the ball more than they give Henderson. I know this because I've had to rely on Henderson all year,
Yeah.
and he has not panned out for me. Like when Scatterbrew got hurt, literally wrecked my whole season. You know what I mean? When Scatterbrew took the job, because Scatterbrew, when Tracy came back, Tracy didn't get any handoffs until Scatterbrew got hurt because they were like, Scatterbrew's our guy, whereas the Patriots aren't doing that. So again, this thing about upside is great. Like, yeah, Montgomery has great upside, except the fact that they only give the fucking ball to Jahmyr Gibbs now, and Jahmyr Gibbs got
I would argue. No, I would argue Montgomery is more of like he's a safer floor guy, but not really high ceiling. Where Saquon is both. He has a very safe floor and he has a super high ceiling.
I mean,
Alvin Kamara's floor. Alvin Kamara's floor is 0, and his ceiling is like 12 points, like 10 or 12 points.
I would say his floor is. I won't argue about his ceiling, but his floor is not.
I had him on my teams. His floor is 0.
Yeah, Kamara.
There's
games where he might as well put up no points. He is.
I mean, you can say that about anybody because St. Brown gave me 0 points 2 weeks ago, and literally
Hollywood.
I'm just saying.
Last week because he hurt his ankle.
No, he still got me 0 points. That's still a floor of 0. That's still a floor of 0. That's still a floor of 0.
Was effectively a non-playoff team.
Yes.
Traded away.
I agree with what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I am saying that if that was true, Kittle would not have been involved in the trade. And also, I understand that Metcalf wouldn't play for the guy that traded Metcalf. That doesn't mean Metcalf wouldn't play for the guy that gets Metcalf. Again, my first year back in fantasy,
it doesn't matter if any of these guys are going to play because the guy is not in the playoffs. That's the whole point.
But that's a different argument.
No, that is the argument. That is the argument.
You guys agreed to these rules where you guys can make trades into the playoffs. That's why every other league in the history of mankind,
Yes, and that's where, like, I told the commissioner, I was like, dude, like, we have not taken any input on any trades all year. Yeah. Like, you have had the, like, the executive power to, let these trades go through or to veto them, and you haven't vetoed a single trade all year, and nobody has really, like, and we've had some bad trades, like, even if people threw a fit, like, not all of them went through. I'm like, why are we now everybody is like acting like we need to vote? And I was like, dude, if you feel like a trade is not fair, that's your role as the commissioner to say, like, hey, this isn't fair, we're not going to do it.
I actually disagree. I think a commissioner should if a guy wants to dump a player, it's on the league to set up proper rules to combat stuff. It's not the commissioner's job to veto a trade.
There's no rules to stop someone from trading Jimmy.
Your audio cut out. I can't hear anything you said. Yeah, I assume you were saying trading Jahmyr Gibbs for somebody because you said Jahmyr and then you cut out as you were saying Jahmyr.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. It's like the only rule you can put in place is letting the league vote against vetoing trades. Like, that's the only thing you can do. That's only, like, rule or regulation you can set up to stop like really bad trades. But also, if you have a league of just like bitter fucking people, every trade is going to get vetoed because they're just like, "Fuck you, you can't do
Well,
that."
That's my fantasy
again,
baseball league, dude. They
the
veto
first
the shit out of everything.
yeah, because they're like they don't want anybody's team to get better. But again, it goes back to this. You could say the same thing about the pro sports. Literally, Luca got jumped for nothing, according to everybody. Should what's his name, Manford or not Manford? Adam Silver step in and veto that trade because that's the same thing you're saying. If a player, if a league, a team, or
They
whatever wants to
vetoed
dump a
Chris.
player,
They vetoed Chris Paul going to the Lakers.
that was
So
David
they
Stern.
vetoed
But
Chris Paul going to the Lakers.
they did do that.
It's a different circumstances. I know the NBA technically owned the Hornets at the time,
Yeah.
but like they vetoed that trade. They've
No,
vetoed trades before.
people lost their minds over the commissioner vetoing a trade. Lost their
Yeah,
minds over it because it was the GM who was in place still to run the team by the NBA agreed to trade their best asset to the Lakers for assets to hopefully make it more convenient for the next owners, so they could say we have these picks to hopefully build around. And the owners were, and the NBA basically said, no, we want Chris Paul on the team until we have an owner in place because they wanted them to have a star player. So the league did, So you could, that's the thing, and I get it. People could get butthurt. Like one of my first years back in fantasy, I had the number one pick. I had Antonio Brown because I went first, and I didn't really understand fantasy again yet. I had a terrible team. I lost every single game. And then I dumped AJ Brown for
Dude,
four
kudos to you
players
for
who were
hanging in
on
there, bro.
somebody else's team that wouldn't start for him, but would have all started for me. So I traded one starter for four starters. Now those and I got fleeced in the trade. 100% I got ripped off in the trade. But those four guys played for me and helped me win two games, so I didn't go the whole winless the whole year. So I traded my best player for four players who would, and I fully admit I got fleeced in the deal. I don't remember the deal, but I know I was not getting value for Antonio Brown. But that's the thing. I did it because those four players started for me. So again, I get the value for value, but it's position for position. I gave up Achane and take my season to get Drake May because I wanted a better quarterback because I didn't think I could win with my quarterbacks. I didn't know Joe Burrow was going to come back. If I knew Burrow was going to be back, which is fucking ridiculous because I held on to Burrow for the whole year, didn't drop him, put him on my RS
yeah.
just left him there. Now, if I had waited out Burrow, I probably don't make this trade. I probably the 2 or 3 seed in my league, and not even worried this week where I would have already clinched. But I made a trade, tried to improve my quarterback, got Saquon in the deal, didn't think I was losing too much, but it ended up burning me, Because, like, for example, Metcalf would start on my team right now today if I had DJ Metcalf. If I could get Metcalf in a trade, he would play for me right now. Because my receiver, that's how much my receivers
no
suck.
way I would start DJ.
Yeah, because your receivers are fucking stacked. You have
also too.
Well, what are your
Dude,
leagues?
this league, my receivers are stacked, and I need it. That's why I was trying to get Kyron because I have to start freaking Bayshell Tootin this week in my freaking running back 2 spot.
Newton.
Yeah,
I like
dude.
that guy.
So it's like, yeah, he's nice. He's very good. He just doesn't get the touches. But no, I'm like, I was like, I need a better freaking running back because I have 7 great receivers on my team, and I can only start 4 of them. And as we get towards the playoffs, like if they're not one of my best 4 guys, they're not going in the lineup, so I don't need them. I'm like, I need to shift this value and production to different positions. Thought I made a very fair trade, and then the whole league just freaking blew up.
I can't wait to hear how the rest of this week goes in that league. Where's your dynasty team at?
I'm a win and in for the playoffs.
You got to win and be in?
Yeah, me and the guy I'm playing this week, it's us 2, and there's one other guy. It's the 3 of us that are fighting for their. The way we do this league is the top 5 playoff spots are determined by record, and then the 6th spot is most points for out of all of the eliminated teams.
Yeah.
And so there's one of the guys, it's the commission. We always joke because it's been the commissioner's rule the last couple of years in our league that we've done this, and he always ends up in that spot. We're like, dude, this is your rule to get yourself into the playoffs.
Every year.
But he will have the 6 seed. Like there's no one else even close to his points for in the eliminated section. But no, so me and one of the guys that are fighting for the 5th spot, we play this week. And then there's another guy that if he wins and if he outscores whichever of me and the other guy that win, if he outscores us by enough, he can jump us in like the tiebreaker and take the spot from us. So I've got to win and win big this week.
Heard that. Hollywood, where are you at in your fantasy league?
All right, so I'm currently fourth. We have a 5-way tie for fifth place.
Dang.
The top 3 teams have all clinched. I'm the 4th seed. I'm 76% currently to make the playoffs. I play one of the people tied for 5th. He's projected to beat me, so if he beats me, he goes in. The 2 other people, one of them is playing the 3 seed and is projected to get crushed. So that would essentially eliminate them. The other 2 5 and 7 teams, 6 and 7 teams, are playing each other. So that would de facto eliminate one of them. So even if I lose, and the thing that sucks is I don't have any tiebreaker over any of these guys I might tie with. Even the closest guys I'm 2 points behind the first tiebreaker, which is points forced. So I would have to win, and then they would have to not perform, and then I could, in theory, leapfrog somebody. So I should, in theory, make it as the 6th seed. But I don't know. I have to it should, because there's 6 teams make it. I lose to Doug. Doug's in. Caesar's in. Oh, Caesar's playing. Well, who's he? I don't. I think I'm in as the 6th seed. I think I should make it as the 6th seed no matter what. And then, but honestly, if I don't feel like I have a way to win the league, I'd rather not make the playoffs and try to win our Bum Bowl, because our Bum Bowl gets their pick of the whatever pick they want. So everybody who doesn't make the playoffs is in a consolation thing, and we go and then you go all the way through, and if you win, then you get to pick your pick the next year. So going into my back to back, I actually was back to back Bum Bowl winner, and then I went back to back championships. So so I almost would rather. I don't think I'm gonna win the thing if I get in the playoffs. I know anything could happen. Like, I basically need Saquon and the Eagles to remember he's Saquon and the Eagles, and in order for me to actually,
I need
have
that
a
to
chance
not happen, because I need them to keep feeding EJ Brown, so Saquon can fuck right off, bro.
That's true. I mean, that's the whole thing. They decided to fucking throw the ball, and then it's like now they don't want to win. So hopefully they go, oh, we need to give the ball to Saquon in order to actually make the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. So
AJ Brown's been wide receiver
one
1 since he told everyone to drop him.
Yeah.
Dude, I picked him up in our stupid league with Trina and all of them, because he was in the waiver wire in our stupid league.
How did I miss that, dude?
Dude, I left Brock Bowers on the waiver wire for like 8 weeks this year, and nobody picked him up.
Dude,
I checked
that shit like once a week right before the Sunday games start.
Yeah.
Obviously, you weren't paying enough attention there, buddy.
Well,
Brock Bowers and AJ Brown, I would have fucking picked both of those guys up just to catch. Even if they just sat on my bench the rest of the year, I would have picked them up just because.
Yeah, it's an 8-team league. Most years I usually just forget about it and it auto drafts, and then I figure it out from there. And I can usually fill my team with top 10 players from the waiver wire throughout the year.
It's usually me and Ben making runs in the playoffs for the ship. most of the time.
Dude, I think Trina is still defeated. I don't even know if she's won a game.
She's 0-13. I don't think she's actually updated her roster since week one.
Since week one.
I think she's had an empty running back slot literally 13 weeks running.
Incredible. It's
Yeah,
such a
but
funny league.
gotta love that league. Well, Hollywood, I
A
hope
hot
you.
take on fantasy is if players don't give a shit about their teams, fucking all the players off their team should be should be able to be picked up, should be auto dropped, and then be able to be like redraft of people, like the people who give a fuck should be able to draft those people. You know what I mean?
I
Because
mean,
that's the one
Auction
thing that
off.
drives me nuts is when I'm playing against a person and they don't fucking bother to edit their team, and it's like you see all the players that they have, they're like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You actually have a good squad, and you don't even want to fucking take the time to deal with this. Like, why are you in
See,
my
and I,
fucking league? Why are you in my
see,
fucking league?"
and I don't care as long as I'm playing that person.
exactly.
As long
I
as
mean, I
I'm
can't.
playing them,
Yeah, I
hell,
mean, yeah. When I play them, like, don't get me wrong, I'll take the W. But like, it's also like, why is this fucking person not? Why is this person even
yeah.
in the
I,
league if they don't give a fuck?
I get mad when I need them to beat somebody else and they don't put anyone in their lineup.
Yeah, yeah. I hope
How
you
are your
clinch
leagues, Tuck?
the sixth seed, Hollywood.
Actually, I realized that I'm actually not going to make the playoffs. So
Wait,
there was one guy. There was one guy I was missing that I wasn't thinking of, and he's favored to win his game. And if he wins and I lose, I would be out. So I need that guy to lose, and he's not playing one of the people that you know what I mean. I missed one
Hol-
guy. There was five. I
Holly,
only did four. You know.
Hollywood's sitting there. What's I forget the guy's name that always does the like playoff things with the NFL where he's like, here's all the things that need to happen for the
yeah.
Atlanta Falcons to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm
It's
that
like
guy.
they need to lose, they need to win, they need a loss or a tie in this one.
Dude, and it's the same guy who does the national election every 4 years.
And the funny thing is, the guy who's going to probably win and keep me out of the playoffs is the guy I traded HN to.
Oh, of course,
Oh,
dude. That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
did we just witness your realization that you're not making the playoffs, Hollywood?
I was pretty sure I wasn't making the playoffs when I couldn't win a fucking game to save my life the last
No,
3
but
weeks.
what's your percentage? But what's your playoff percentage?
76%.
Dude,
That's good odds.
yeah.
It's good
Like,
odds, but I'm favored to lose this game, and I need this. I need to win. If I win and I'm in, and I'm favored to lose
oh man.
Then why are your odds so high?
because I'm the only 7-6 person, and they're all 6-7. So
Just
I
keep
Oh, okay. So
remember the
you're
odds are also based off of what they think the player is going to do. So they think Saquon's going to get me 12 points. Is Saquon going to actually get me 12 points? Probably not, because he hasn't gotten me 12 points I think yet since I've had him.
I
That's
gotta
not true.
look
He
at
might
hasn't
have
done
gotten
it
me
yet.
12 points the first game I had him.
He's averaging 12.6 for the year.
Yes. So I got him right before his. I got him right. I got him during the bye week. Since I've had him, he got 11.6, 9.5, 8.9, and 5.6. So he has not gotten me his thing. That is what it's going off of.
That's
Sometimes
crazy
also
because
the playoff predictor take into account people who are on buys, and I have three starters technically on bye. I have May, Henderson, and I've been playing Matt Collins, and they're all on buys because my receivers suck. Like I really need the commissioner next year to drop this to a 2 receiver league again. That's why I was like going back to the argument earlier. DJ Metcalf would start on my team. My receivers right now are AJ Brown. Sorry, not AJ Brown. Ahmad St. Brown, DJ Moore, and Jacoby Myers. With on my bench of Cooper Kupp, who I've not played the whole year, and Hollywood Brown, who hasn't been worth playing since
No, he's
Rice
not
and
good.
Worthy came back. You know,
No. I mean, I would still take all three of those guys you have in your wide receiver spot over DK Metcalf.
uh, I don't know how bad DJ Metcalf's been. Maybe I'm just thinking off of the the name versus
he's been
anything.
garbage this year, dude.
Dude,
right.
I've hated DK Metcalf for years. I have hated having him on my fantasy teams. It's so miserable.
Same, same. Coming from a Seahawk fan, I didn't even like him on the Seahawks, dude.
That's bullshit. I still don't believe you when you say that.
Dude, because I watched him drop so many balls that hit him right in the
Yeah.
hands. He's big
Dude,
and can
no one
jump higher than everyone else, but you still have to be able to catch the ball.
I just realized Burrow is playing Buffalo, and Buffalo has a good passing offense. So they're, so so he might not even be a good play this week. Maybe I should pick back up Trevor and play Trevor instead.
I think you're going to make the playoffs, Hollywood.
I got to win this game first, and then we can talk. If I don't win the game, I'm not making the playoffs. So
So
I guess the guy that the one of the guys is only 52% to win. So and he got Allen, so it's but he's playing Stafford. So if Stafford like balls out, maybe, but Stafford's 6, and what's Allen now? Now Allen's still the best quarterback in the league. So
yeah. No, here's my situation. 14 team league. The top two teams have already
14
Ooh,
people. That's fucking so. I
yeah.
don't get.
that's tough, dude. How
It
many
should
guys do you
it should
start?
it should be no more than 10. No league should be more than 10 teams.
I like 12. I don't mind a 12 team league. I think the league is deep enough that 12 teams is solid. 14 you got to get a little crafty. But also depends on how many roster spots, how many guys you're starting. How many guys do you guys start?
9 roster spots. It's
Oh, that's
traditional.
it.
2 running backs, 2 receivers, tight end flex, defense kicker,
Okay. Okay.
5 bench spots.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, our waiver
That's
wire
not
is
bad. That's not
dry
bad.
AF, bro.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh
dry
yeah.
AF. So 14 team league, top 2 teams have clinched already. We have a 3-way tie for third place at 8-5. And we have a 3-way tie for sixth place at 7-6. And then we have a ninth place team who has a 39% chance at playoffs at 6-7. Everyone else has been
Dang.
eliminated. So I'm tied for sixth at 7-6 right now. I'm basically looking at it as I need to win to get in. Our tiebreaker, fortunately, is not head to head. It's points for.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what we do too.
so my team could just go off. I could still lose and like still have a outside shot at making the playoffs. But basically, 7 teams are going in. Only 5 are going to make it. 2 teams will get eliminated after this week. I'm
Dang.
mostly worried
Dude,
about
that's the
Aaron.
best. That's the best.
I'm worried about Aaron Jones and Kenneth Walker, my RBs, because they're both
Ugh.
questionable.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good. That little Q next to their name never never feels good.
Yeah, no, St. Brown was questionable going into the game, and then there was one point
I am so glad he played.
he was projected to have no points. So I was like, I switched him out. Then I saw he was active, so I was like, fuck, do I play him? Do I not play him? Do I play him? Do I not play him? I was going back and forth. I was like, I'd rather go down with St. Brown playing than play Cup or Hollywood and hope they do something.
Yeah,
So I played him, and I was like, yeah, I'm happy. He did something.
Yeah.
he did enough. He did enough.
Yeah, he
He
gave me
and
12
he
points.
was what like fifth.
That's yeah. I was hoping for
Yeah,
another garbage time touchdown, but apparently they
yeah,
only give the ball to Jameer Gibbs now.
yeah.
I was like, if I
Dude,
could
I
get
was
a garbage
freaking.
time like that last touchdown they scored, I was like, man, if this could be Montgomery or St. Brown, cool. I'll feel good about my chances going into Sunday. And then once Gibbs got it, I was like, no, it was, God damn it! Like, why is he the only one who plays now?
All right, I
Because
got
he's
one
the
quick
best player.
lineup. I got one quick lineup question for you guys. My quarterbacks are CJ Stroud, Baker Mayfield,
Baker Mayfield.
and Caleb Williams.
Baker Mayfield.
Don't start Caleb.
So here's the thing.
Bears are
Caleb is a
12
top
and one
10.
against the Packers
I've been
in the
starting
last
Caleb,
6 years.
and he's been like he's a top 10 fantasy quarterback. But yes,
Look at their schedule. Look at the Bears' schedule the last like 6 or 7 weeks.
yeah.
There's a reason he's been so good.
And he's going to be in Green Bay. I don't think it's probably going to be cold and snowy, so I'm not starting
And
Caleb.
we have one of the better defenses in the league. They're not going to be able to run the ball as well as they want to, and that hurts your passing game. He's going to throw. He's going to probably throw a good bit, but also too, like I don't know, the Packers this year they'll have these games where like this could very easily just be one of those like 10-7 type freaking games where
Uh,
no one can do anything all game long.
well, the Bears have been one of the like second rate rushing attack or something like that. So they're definitely going to try to rely heavily on the run. So I don't think Caleb's a good start.
Yeah, and
Baker's
you
Baker's your
can't
best
run
chance
outside
for.
on this Packers
So
team.
I've got Baker and CJ Stroud. Right now, I'm going with CJ Stroud at Kansas City because I feel like it's going to be a shootout. Baker is going to be
Game
at home.
script will be good for him.
Baker's going to be at home against New Orleans. I feel like they could get ahead early and they're just going to run the ball, and Baker's not going to have as many attempts. So I'm leaning CJ
Yeah,
Stroud.
especially with Bucky
So
back.
so
Yeah, the game script definitely favors Shroud.
I would disagree with that. The Houston offense has been terrible all year. Relying on CJ Stroud
It
would
has.
would be would be a dumb mistake in my opinion if you were to start CJ Stroud over Baker Mayfield.
Prime time in Kansas City, dude. You don't think he's going to have like 35 attempts?
First of all, KC's defense is legit. That's number one.
It
Number
is.
two is remember all of their wins. They're either playing a close game or they win in a blowout. I mean, I guess they. That's it. I mean, I know they could say that about everybody, but the you know the shootout aspect only works. They've not been in any shootouts where the Kansas City hasn't been in any shootouts where the other team is putting up points. They put up points, and then their defense held the other team in check. So I would disagree with playing CJ over Big Show.
See, and
Did
like
you just call him Bake Show,
I
bro?
don't think you're
I did. It's
Big
because
Show,
first
dude.
things first literally calls him that, and
The
that's
great.
why it was in my head. I literally, as soon as I said that, I
That's
was like,
funny.
I can't believe I fucking just said that. I hate that nickname so goddamn
That's
much.
funny. Yeah. No, I wouldn't expect a shootout in that game. But like I could very realistically see like the Texans falling behind and them having to pass the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And if they fall
Like
behind and
that
have to
wouldn't
pass,
surprise me.
he's going to get destroyed back there. It's literally your best chance is Baker Mayfield. But
I feel like
twice,
CJ's
I
got a
mean,
higher floor, dude. Like, I
okay,
feel
the
like
floor is probably 3-2 then. And I would disagree. Baker's floor is probably 10 times whatever CJ's floor is.
Baker's last
also
three
too, New
games,
Orleans he's
13,
not been
4,
that
and
good.
16.
Yeah,
He has not been good.
New Orleans defense isn't terrible. Um, the Saints defense isn't terrible. They're not. I don't know. They're not like
I,
freaking. I don't know. They're not
I
the
rest my
Cowboys.
case. I rest my case on the fact that he's saying the New Orleans defense isn't terrible as an excuse to take start CJ. You know
Well,
what? Go
it's
ahead. Start CJ. I'm with it. Start CJ Stroud, and I'll laugh at you when I talk to you on Monday. How about
Here's
that?
yeah. I don't know.
I'm leaning CJ Stroud.
Then play CJ Stroud.
I'm going to. All I'm going to
Okay.
say is the last time I asked you for lineup advice, you told me to start Bam Knight instead of Darnell Mooney,
And I
and
was right.
Darnell
And I was
Mooney
right. And I was
outscored Bam
right.
Knight.
What?
Darnell Mooney outscored Bam Knight. That's all I'm saying.
First of all, you also wanted to start Bam Knight, so you can shut the hell up and do it. All right. And number two is I don't agree. I don't believe you. That was that's fake news.
That didn't happen.
Wait.
You're crazy.
Are you
That's
calling
fake
me a
news,
liar?
sir. Yes, I'm calling you a liar, sir.
I have the receipts, bro. Literally.
That didn't happen. No, you don't.
No, you don't. Never happened. La 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 la. You can't prove anything as I log out.
The worst part is I can fucking prove it, you asshole. I have the receipts in my phone right now. You're probably looking at them. Oh yeah, shit.
No, I'm playing it. I'm playing a game. I'm not.
Oh my god.
Gosh. Dude, I got a lineup question for you guys. Dude, this is not not what I want to start this week. I was trying to avoid this with this trade that I was trying to make. Um, but now I've got to like I
You
have
mean
to
the
freaking
trade where
start
you're trying
facial.
to rip off the other people in your league? You mean that trade? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, the one where I was trying to ruin the league.
Yeah.
No, I think now I'm leaning towards the other guy, but my last flex spot I'm between Pat Bryant and Luther Burden.
Whoa, dude.
Apparently,
I
Hold
don't
on.
even know who either of those people
I
are. So
dude, that's your problem, dude. That's why you're
Who did you
hoping to
just
make the
say? Can you say that
playoffs.
again slowly?
Pat Bryant, he's like maybe wide receiver 2 or 3 on the Broncos right now. I think he's a rookie. But he's one of those guys that like every year there are these rookie wide receivers that just like seem to come out of nowhere and like turn it on at the end of the year. It was Brian Thomas Jr. last year.
Yeah.
He was like mid all year long and then exploded. It's why I didn't freaking draft him this year when I like had the chance because I was like, because also I watched in all of his like big games, he scored all these like garbage time, like long touchdowns, and that's where like a lot of his production came from. And he was doing it with Mac Jones, um, and so I was like, yeah, I don't know about this guy. It seemed kind of fluky, and now he's had a terrible year. But like,
hold
it's
on
that
one
thing
second,
of
just before you keep going. I now have it. So I have a chat with Carlo or with Marco that I never look at anymore because it was just him trolling me in the thing. Tucker just sent a message that I'm never going to look at. So we need that. We're gonna. You guys are gonna have to find a new way to communicate with me because I'm never going to look at this chat again.
it didn't happen. It's not real.
If I
Um,
never look at it, it's not real.
Oh my
Sorry. So Pat Bryant,
you know,
who's the
this
other
is
guy?
Luther Burden, who's the Bear. He's on the Bears, and I think Roma Dunze's out this week, which is nice. I picked up Burden before that was even announced, and now Burden's like the highest trending free agent. So I'm like really glad I grabbed him early. Um, so I'm leaning towards him now because Rome's going to be out, but Burden is like super explosive, and if you the case that people are making for him is Ben Johnson is the coach there when he was the coordinator in the Lions. Is how Amon Ra was, where he was like kind of being used and like decent ish throughout the year, and then the last like 5 or 6 weeks of the year, he was like one of the 2 or 3 best receivers in football. And so they're like, okay, Ben Johnson's going to do it again with this rookie wide receiver that's explosive and awesome and great. Um, but they're both like total freaking dart throws. I just have no one else to freaking start. All my guys are on bye.
Dude, short answer, Burden. Um, but for all the reasons why I'm not starting Caleb Williams, I feel like that's a pretty risky start in your wide receiver stack. Who are the top wide receiver free agents in that league right now?
Dude, it's not good. I think those were literally the 2 best.
Is Rashid
Also, too, I was
Shaheed
trying to go to
available?
dude. I will not start Rashid Shaheed until he put catches more than 2 footballs in a freaking game for the Seahawks. They're
But if you're
just
gonna
not
throw a
using him at all.
if you're gonna throw a dart, like why
Well,
not?
Pat Bryant has had like 5 or 6 targets in the last like 2 or 3 games, and like his role is growing, his snap share is growing, his target share is growing. Like he's trending in the right direction in like every way. And then like Burden, it's like the opportunity is there, especially now that Rome is down. But no, dude, our this is the 12 team league. And it's weird because like there's guys like I picked up freaking Jaden Daniels and Mike Evans on the waiver wire going into this week. So I put Evans on my IR spot in case he comes back next week and I'm not eliminated. Um, but our best, even like our best flex is not good, dude. It's like literally might be like Chimeri DK or something like that.
Well, so I think you should start Burden, but hear me out. I would consider Shaheed only because the Seahawks are coming. All of their offensive players are going to rebound in a big way because they just had that blowout win because their defense scored like two defensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
And so all their stats are going to rebound in a big way this coming week. They're in Atlanta playing in a dome. Their offense is dynamite. If Shaheed was ever going to attract more than like four targets in a game and rip off a fucking 70-yard TD reception just because Seattle blows out Atlanta and Atlanta has a weak defense, it would be this week. So, like, give
Well, here's
Shaheed some
here's
thought.
where I would here's where I would argue against it. The Atlanta Falcons have allowed like the least amount of deep passes in the league over the last like 2 or 3 years. Their defense isn't like phenomenal, but they don't fucking allow deep shots.
Really?
Like they, that's yeah, it's like their one like really good part of their defense. Like even last year when they had like zero pass rush to speak of, they don't allow these deep shots. They've got really good safeties, um, and their secondary is really like fairly solid, but the rest of the defense is just kind of mid. And then you have mid offense and quarterback play that's giving the them good opportunities. And that's why they suck. But even then, like they might be a freaking playoff team this year. The NFC South is so whack. But no, my receiver options on the waiver wire are Cooper Cup, Malik Washington, Chimere DK, Tyler Lockett, and Cedric Tillman. Those are my top five receivers.
Well, Cup gives you a safe floor of like four fantasy points. If you're
Yeah,
only looking
exactly.
for four,
That's not true. His floor would, if we're going to talk about zero, his floor is zero because he's been on my fantasy team all year, and there's been plenty of times he's had 0 points. Thank you, very nice.
I think Burden's gonna be your best shot, Ben. I
Yeah,
think
that's kind of
Burden
what
is
I'm
the man.
leaning towards, especially now that Rome is out, because I've had Bryant in my lineup like throughout the week, but I just saw the news on Rome, and I'm like, oh, now I might have to make a little switch here. Um, and I need my wide receivers to show up in that flex spot after CeeDee Lamb got knocked out of the game.
Yeah, dude, that was brutal.
He's he still gave me 20.1, which I will take. Um, I will certainly take that. It's a
He
good
was
performance from my wide
he
receiver
was on
one.
track for a 40 burger, bro.
Yeah, dude, he was so hot. He was on freaking fire. Dak just kept throwing it to him. It's like it's fun having those receivers like that the quarterback just like their quarterback just won't stop throwing it to them. That's why I
Hmm.
love having Jamar Chase on a team. Like it was one of the Flacco games where he had like 20, I think Chase had like 21 targets or something like that. And it's like the first possession after halftime. They came out in the third quarter, and I think Jamar Chase had like 5 catches on one drive. I was like, dude, this is amazing. Please do this every
Yeah.
possession.
Uh, I love that. Those are good. Those are good games. Yeah, and then poor Dak only had I don't want to play football. George, I don't want to play football anymore, Pickens.
Dude, yeah. It's funny that like it's finally showing up because all year Pickens has been a freaking top 10 fantasy player. He's been so good all year long. Um, and then now he's being a little bitch.
Dude,
What
that
you mean? A player being the player who's been a bitch his whole career? All of a sudden, people are shocked that he decided to be a bitch again. Oh my
Yeah,
god!
exactly.
What a
Oh,
surprise, right?
I'm not shocked. I've just been waiting. I've just been waiting for that other shoe to drop like all year long. You're
dude,
just like, all
that
right,
deep shot,
when is George Pickens going to do something stupid?
that deep shot where the ball like literally landed an inch away from his foot, dude. And he just watched
Yeah,
it. Just watched it. He was like, it's like, dog, did you forget that you were playing wide receiver in a national football league? Like, bro.
like that's too much work, dude. Put it in my hands. Throw it right to me. Dude, that's what the thing with him is like he makes all these like insane catches. It's like, really, dude, you can't. You can't catch that.
That was probably the issue. Dak didn't make it hard enough to catch it.
He's like, I want a ball. He's double covered. He's like, I want a ball way up here. I want to jump over these guys and try to catch it. Why are you throwing it at my feet?
Yeah, that was a tough watch.
I was playing Pickens in one of my leagues, so I'm fine that once CD went down, I was really worried. I was like, God damn it, dude. Is Pickens is about to just go crazy the rest of the game. And luckily Ryan Flournoy happened.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Pickens is one of my receivers in our Trina League. So when CD went down, I was like, oh, nice. Pickens is about to go off.
I'm about to go off in my league I care about so much.
Yeah. Forgot that he doesn't care about football. My bad.
The
My
next
bad,
Jay
George.
Cutler doesn't care. I
My boy
don't
Jay
care.
Cutler.
That's your boy.
All right, gents. Hollywood, close us out. I got to go put my son to bed.
Good night, guys.
Bye, Mike.
Goodbye, Mike.
All right, most of you love you.
Must
All
you love
right,
you.
love you, most of you.
Bye.